Hello everyone. We'll see if people join. Right now I'm going to make sure that the live chat is turned off. Alright, I am in the car. I am going to be driving. However, I have the chat turned off so that no one will see it. And I just realized I stopped the map app. I gotta hop over there. I wonder if that's gonna stop the live chat. I'll be right back. Are you guys still here? Sorry about that. I had to hop over and do the map. I am going to be driving, but I have the chat box hidden so that I won't see anybody's comments. I am on my way to Little Rock, Arkansas, and I don't want to be distracted while driving. So it's gonna be a little different tonight because I will be talking, but I won't see any of your comments. I won't be able to answer any questions until after the live chat is over. So tonight's topic is going to be reawaken the dream. Reawaken the dream. And I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to tell the story of a woman named Diana Nyad. So I hope everybody can hear me okay. I hope the road noise is not too loud. And I hope the map is going to come up and give me directions. Even though I'm live. So this is going to be kind of a fun experiment for all of us. And it's kind of weird not to see who's watching and not to see the chat. So right now I see only one person is on. I guess I will go ahead and start. I am in Arkansas going to an interpreter's workshop. And it is a 3-day workshop on interpreting police interviews, police interrogations. So I do some interpreting in the court system. And it ends Saturday afternoon, which is kind of a bummer since the shindig is going on Saturday, but I won't be able to be there for it. So again, for anyone who's watching, I am live while I'm driving. However, I have my chat box hidden, so I can't see anybody's comments. I can't see any conversations you guys are having. I want to be safe, of course. Looks like only one person is here. And I'm wondering whether I need to end and start again. I don't know whether I'm still live or not. I'm going to keep talking. It looks like the counter's rolling, so I will go ahead and start telling the story of Diana Nyad. And for those of you who don't watch it live, perhaps you'll come back on the replay and watch it. So I want to talk about dreams, and I want to tell you the story of Diana Nyad. Her last name is spelled N-Y-A-D, and her amazing comeback story. I don't know whether you've ever heard of her. She is a swimmer. She's a marathon swimmer. She swims in ocean waters, and she was particularly well known in the 1970s. And she was, when she was 28 years old, she attempted to swim the channel, the crossing from Cuba to Key West. She's an American. She grew up in Key West, and that had been a dream of hers. And there's a lot of particular challenges with crossing that particular strait. It's a 110-mile journey across that. And well, we'll get into the challenges later. So she's 28 years old. It's in the 1970s, and she makes it 49 hours into her trip, and she's unable to complete the journey. And she goes on, she did other swims. She swam from the Bahamas to Florida. She's very well known. She retired at age 30, and she became a sports broadcaster. She has authored 3 books and gone on and been very successful in her life. And life continued on, and in 2009 she turned 60 years old. And at that time she had, her mother had passed away, and so she decided that she kind of had this moment of, have I done everything in life that I wanted to do? Am I the person I want to be? Am I a person that I would admire? You know, what kind of life have I lived? And so she, at that time, decided that she was gonna try and swim that crossing again from Cuba to the United States. So she starts training, and at first she doesn't tell anybody about this journey that she's on. She goes to the country club. She hasn't swam in 30 years. She retired. She said she'd never swim another stroke. So she starts swimming at, I guess, the country club, or, you know, local pool, wherever retired swimmers go to swim. And at first, you know, it'd just be like half an hour a day. And she said for the first little bit, she just added on 10 minutes a day. And 10 to 20 minutes, you know. She's wondering, are my shoulders gonna hold up to it? Am I gonna be able to swim like I did when I was in my 20s? It's been a long time since she's been in the water. So she swims in the pool, she builds up her endurance, you know, she's gradually building up 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, trying to build up her endurance and for this crossing that she's gonna attempt in her 60s. In her 60s. Well, let's just talk about that. Let's talk about what it takes to cross the straits, the Florida Straits, between the tip of Cuba and the Florida Key West, Florida Keys. It's a 110-mile journey. That's going to take somebody 2 or 3 days of being in the water. And in that time, when you're swimming and you're doing an unassisted swim, is what she attempted, you're not allowed to touch the boat. You're not allowed to, no one could touch her, but they could hand her, there's a boat alongside of her, and they could hand her food, they could put food in her mouth, they could give her water, but they can't help her in any way. She has to be completely powered under her own strength. And no one, man or woman, has ever completed that swim unaided. So in the 70s, when she tried it, she was in a shark cage because, oh yes, so in addition to it being a 110-mile journey, it's shark-infested waters. There's box jellyfish, which are some of the deadliest jellyfish in the world, are there. You're fighting against a Gulf Stream, which is coming from the Gulf of Mexico out into the Atlantic Ocean, and it's desperately trying to push you out off course. There's the east winds that come from Africa and blow across the Atlantic, and when they hit that Gulf Stream, it makes the water incredibly choppy. So there's all these obstacles. And for those of you who are just joining in, yes, I'm driving. I have the chat hidden, so I can't see any of your conversation tonight because I want to be safe while driving. I'm on my way to Little Rock, Arkansas, and I wanted to be able to share with you this story of Diana Nyad that I had heard. So you're facing, in the Gulf, particularly in that crossing of from Florida, from Cuba to the tip of Florida, 110-mile journey, several days in the water, the wind coming from one direction, the Gulf Stream coming from the other direction, sharks, what else? Jellyfish, and then on top of that, your body's going to start fighting against you because the water temperature, even at its warmest time during the year, is still colder than your body temperature. So your body is having to fight off hypothermia, and then exhaustion sets in, and then your muscles are not going to be getting the oxygen they need. They're not going to be getting the nutrition they need because you're only able to eat whatever they can feed you from the boat. So here's this woman who at 60 years old decides she wants to try swimming that passage again. She's going to swim from Cuba to the United States. Nobody's ever done it. Nobody has ever completed that journey. The last time she tried it was in her 20s, in the prime of her swimming career, and now she's back training for it. And so she does she builds up her endurance in the pool, and then she does some ocean swims, you know, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, building up her ocean endurance. I don't know about you guys. I used to live in Southern California, and it is tough swimming in the ocean. Anyway, it's like if you spend a day at the beach and you've got the waves knocking at you and the sun beating down on you, it's hard. I can't even imagine. And like triathletes do, I don't know how many miles they do in the beach or in the ocean, you know, but it's certainly nothing like that. And so 2010, she trains all of 2010. I think she started in the fall of 2009. She trained all year to the next summer, and then it's time. It's summer. She flies down to Cuba. She gets ready, and she keeps waiting for the right weather and the right wind and the right Gulf Stream. So she's got people who research and like look at everything. Is the water temperature okay? Are the winds okay? Is the swells? Because, you know, if you've got 1 foot swells and you're in a boat, it seems like nothing, right? But if you're out there swimming against it, that's crazy. And if they're 3 feet or 5 feet or 7 feet, it's impossible to swim. You can't make progress in that. So she waits all summer and nothing. It was never right. And so she had to go home and put it off for a whole year. So July of 2011 rolls around, or summer. I don't remember exactly which month. Summer rolls around, July 2011. CNN is there. They were there throughout her 2010 announcement of this, I think she called it her extreme dream. She's gonna do this extreme dream. 2011, CNN is there. There's like a 40-minute documentary to it. And I actually have a link that my moderators have that they can put in the comments for you guys. 2011 comes. They're watching the weather. She's in Cuba. She's ready. She's had some shoulder problems. She's had to learn a new swimming stroke because of the shoulder tear in her shoulder that she has. But other than that, she's good to go. You know, she's feeling strong. She's had her endurance built up, and she just is ready. And so the weather looks perfect, and she gets in the water, and they get just like a couple hours off the shore, and the weather changes and the wind picks up. So she's fighting current, and she's swimming, and she's doing good, but it's hard. It's hard, and she's having a hard time making it. And then her shoulder, she starts having extreme pain, almost pain that she can't stand. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the worst, 0 being no pain, she's having 10. She's just in excruciating pain. So she keeps going. You know, 12 hours go by. She's swimming overnight in the dark. The sharks are swimming around. The jellyfish are around. And another day goes by. She's still facing these pains. She's having asthma attacks. She's never had an asthma attack in the water before. She's having asthma attacks. So now she can't breathe. And there's a doctor on board, and they give her an inhaler, and there's all these complications. And eventually, after, I want to say, 20-something hours, 29, 30-something hours in the water, she calls it. She can't do it. She just can't. She's physically unable to complete this swim, this extreme dream. So they go back and rest, but then a month later, another opportunity comes up. So she goes again. She's in the water. She gets stung by these box jellyfish, which apparently are the most venomous jellyfish in the world. It's usually fatal, but they've got someone there helping her through it. And so she survives, but it kills the dream again. So this is now her third attempt. She tried once when she was 28. She tried again in 2011 2 times, and she goes home. All right, I can see we're almost at the 15-minute mark. So for those of you who are watching, I can't tell, I can't see the number. Just so you know, I am driving. I'm not able to read any comments. I really don't even know for sure that anyone is watching. Hopefully some people will watch this on the replay. It's just an amazing story, and I hope that you find it as interesting as me. I hope you can all hear me. I'm trying to talk loud enough in case there's road noise. I'm just gonna finish up the story and then give you my takeaways, and hopefully it's a successful live chat. So here we go. So now, 2011, 2 failed attempts. She packs it up. She's really defeated, but she goes home, She comes back again, 2012. It's going to be her 4th attempt crossing the water. She gets, I don't know how far this time. She's attacked by jellyfish again. She's attacked by jellyfish again, and she has to call it quits in the middle of this trip. This amazing is 4 times again, and she's like, I gotta do it one more time at least. And they're like, you know, such and such area has really nice weather this time of year. Crossing the straits from Cuba to Key West is almost an impossible journey. No other swimmer has made it who's attempted it. Since 1950, people have been trying to make this swim, and nobody has been successful. So they come up with some things to help her out. So she has kayaks in the water next to her, and one of the challenges that she has faced every time she's gone is that her she drifts a little bit, and if you get your drift off just a little bit when you're that far out to sea, you're gonna miss the United States and end up in the Atlantic Ocean or the Gulf of Mexico somewhere. So how are we gonna keep her straight? So they come up with, they've got the aid boat nearby. They put a crane up and over, and they run this red ribbon kind of thing in the water with LED lights on it so that she has something to follow, like a lane line in a pool. I'm not sure which swim they came up with this, but by the last time for sure she's got it. Another thing that they do is there is a special suit and mask that's created, and I don't know if it was already available or not, but she wears it this time to protect her from the jellyfish stings, because the jellyfish only come out at night. So every night she has to put on this suit, and the mask goes over her face, but she has to hold it in place in her mouth, so she's got to bite down on it. And she's allowed to get she's not allowed, she's allowed to get nutrition whenever she wants, but they've got a schedule of every 90 minutes. And her best friend, Bonnie, her #1 person on her team, is there every 90 minutes blowing a whistle, come over closer to the boat so we can feed you. And they had done research and got doctors help, and so they're feeding her like cooked pasta and different things like that to help her fight off malnutrition and help her fight off Okay, I hope I'm still connected, and I hope you guys are still here. Sorry, I guess I went through a place with not great signal for a minute. She swims in the dark at night so that because sharks and jellyfish are attracted to light. She has divers under the water who are taking turns in teams, and they have PVC pipes, and if the sharks are coming too close to her, they kind of nudge them away and try and get them interested in something else. So she's got this entire team of people at her ready, and she's just getting delirious. She's having hallucinations. She's singing to herself to keep herself going. And so for this year, for her year, and from 2012 to 2013, her mantra changed to find a way. No matter what happens, I'll find a way. I will find a way. So it's coming near the end of 2 days or 2.5 days, and it's night, and she's struggling, and her friend Bonnie blows a whistle and calls her over to the boat and says, I want you to look up here. And throughout her trip, all her attempts, they had said, we're never going to tell you how far you have left to go. We're never going to tell you how much time it is, because it's just you just have to do it. Otherwise, you're always like doing that mental calculation. So Bonnie says, look up there. Do you see that light up there? And Diana says, oh, it's almost dawn. You know, I'm going to be able to get off this mask soon. And her friend Bonnie says, no, those are the lights of Key West. In 2013, at the age of 64 years old, she completed a task that no one else, what do I have? Oh, I have a temperature warning. Let me turn on the air. Are you guys still here? It looks like I'm still live. I had a temperature warning on the phone, and so I'm trying to move it down here in front of an air vent, and I don't know if it'll stick to the thing. All right, we'll just do it like this. Sorry about that. It looks like people are still watching. Still getting a temperature warning. Sorry, guys. Let me go back to YouTube. Let me hold it. All right. Chris says I am back. I'm going to try and just hold this in front of the air vent right there, and I will finish up the story, and then I will put the phone down since I guess I'm driving right towards the sun and it got overheated on the where I had it setting. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what you heard, so I'm just going to repeat the last little bit. At the age of 64 in 2013, Diana Nyad completed a task that no one prior to her had been able to do. She crossed the strait swimming unaided from Cuba to Key West, Florida. And my moderators, if they're in the chat, have some videos that I linked to, that I gave them links to earlier today to give you guys so that you can go watch her story. And then there's a third one that we linked to, and that one is a TED Talk of a young man called Figure It Out. All right, let's see. And so I just have a few takeaways from this, and I'm going to share those real quick and then we'll end. One is, what's your excuse? If she can come back at 20, 30 years later, having not swam in all that time and train and dedicate herself to fulfilling her dream, what is your excuse? And I say that rhetorically. We have no excuse. You can find a way. And secondly, you can find a way. Another takeaway is, you are never too old to live your dream. It's never too late to get started. It's never too late to reawaken that dream. So what dream lies dormant? I want you guys right now to take a minute and tell each other in the chat, what dormant dream do you have that you can reawaken, that you can return to? And what steps are you going to take to accomplish that? Another takeaway, let me think, I had some more. Hang on one second, guys. I'm going to try and just turn the temperature down there, turn it on all face instead of feet and face, and see if that helps any. You guys are so patient with me. And then I'm going to end. So, it's never too late, and it's never too late to go home. Her beginning of her life was in Key West, and the end of her dream was in Key West. And I like the full circle of that. I like that she was able to go home and accomplish her dream. So I want to encourage you guys today to go and watch the videos that are linked in the comments. I want to encourage you to find a way to complete your dream, to find a way to start your dream. Oh, I also, one of my takeaway was that she started with baby steps. She didn't immediately get back in the pool after 30 years of no swimming and try and swim for several hours. She said the first day back in the pool, she only went for 30 minutes. Come on. Okay, so with that, with all these technical problems, okay, so I'm going to end tonight. I want to thank you all for being here. I will go back later when I am stopped and read your comments and reply to them. And I would ask that you would give my moderators a thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for everyone that joined. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I hope you do. And now I'm going to put the phone down so I can drive. There's no one else really on the road right here, but I do want to be safe at all times. And since this was having the problems in the little holder thing that I got for it, I don't want to keep hand holding it like this. So thank you guys so much. Have a good evening, and go watch Diana Nyad's story.